see. I see him in our list. Coach Scott, are you on with us this morning?
Yes, I am. Sorry, I've been having some technical
Okay.
difficulties here on our campus the last 2 weeks, actually.
We heard, so hope things get worked out rather quickly today.
Been 2 weeks. I'm not looking. We'll see.
But we keep our fingers crossed for you. How are you today, Coach?
Doing well. How are you guys?
Doing well as well. All right, so let's jump right in. The Bison are coming off a tough loss to Maryland that happened on Saturday night. After reviewing the game film, what are your overall thoughts about how your team played on Saturday?
Well, speaking of cyber attacks, there's been a challenge to even get film to watch and do all of those type of things with everything we got going on. So finally did get a chance to watch it yesterday afternoon. And obviously, regardless of what the score indicated, it still was a lot to pull away from that game that we learned a lot about, again, being a young football team in that type of environment against a team of that caliber. Coach Loxley's done a really good job of recruiting and made that team a really big-time contender in the Big Ten Conference. So it was a heck of a challenge for us, but a lot of what we needed to see from our kids in our journey and where we are with building our foundation, a lot of it was very encouraging. So regardless of what the score indicated, there was a lot of positives that we could pull from that to continue to build for what has now become our real season. We told the team we kind of went through our two-game preseason, work out all the kinks of our process of how we prepare and travel and do all of those type of things to get ourselves ready for our 9-game real season here. So fired up about getting started with that.
Awesome. And then despite the loss, which individuals played well for you all this weekend?
I think start with our quarterback. I think even though we missed a couple of things, missed a few throws, but just from a game management standpoint of kind of getting us in some really good protections and making some really good decisions with the ball, not taking sacks and holding the football and doing all those type of things, which was a challenge to him to just from an operational standpoint to become a better game manager. We saw him take a huge step forward. Again, I continue to be encouraged by our young offensive line. I think Maryland's goal was to come in and sack us a lot. We didn't have a lot of sacks and didn't have a lot of penalties and those type of things that speak to the discipline of where we are as a football team was some of the things that was encouraged. But the quarterback, I think our young offensive line continued to improve and gain confidence and being able to handle at times Maryland's front a little bit was huge for us. And then just defensively, when we were able to actually get a call and get guys lined up correctly and all those type of things, being able to teach from some things from that were really encouraging. And our special teams, we took a step there as well.
Awesome, sounds good. This weekend, it's the Truth in Service Classic, or as some call it, the Battle of the Real HU, which is Howard versus Hampton. Entering the rivalry for this game for the first time, what have your players and the staff around have told you about the rivalry?
I think the staff and the players, I mean, we don't have to hear it from us how important this game is and what that's all about. They'll get enough of that from, the outside. What we need to really keep them focused and zeroed in on are, controlling the controllables, controlling the things that we control towards continuing to get better as a football team, offensively, defensively, and special teams wise. So we still need to make everything about the process, not necessarily the opponent. Again, they'll get enough of that from the outside, but there's no doubt they know who they're playing. They know the importance of this game, and we'll be super excited to play at Audi Field right here in DC. It'll be a heck of an environment that they'll be walking into, and they're truly excited. But we got to keep them singly focused on what we got to get done over the course of the week to get better.
Awesome, and you may have mentioned it already, but where will this game be won and lost? What areas?
And be won and lost?
Yes.
I think for us it'll be a game of not beating yourself. So I think having discipline with the penalty situation, minimizing our penalties. We got to do a much better job on third down and staying on the field and doing those things. But I think it'll be a lot with the team that has the most discipline, that can play with the most poise, compose themselves and go out and execute and not get caught up in all the hype and all the other things that's going to be associated with the game and make it truly about execution and being disciplined.
Awesome, Coach. Thank you. Those are all my questions. Do we have any media questions for Coach Scott? Anyone with questions for Coach Scott? Yes, Mr. Hill?
Coach, good morning, sir. When you think about HU football, just talk about the Bison tradition. And as you move forward, as you say, a lot of people will be looking at you guys this weekend, Howard and Hampton, and it's a really big time event.
Yeah, man, yes, it is. And I think, again, it's for these young men. It's about the moment, too. It's about the experience. So we don't want to miss that and what that's all about. But I think we want to address what that is and then focus on what's important about the game and what we control to make sure we're doing our part and putting ourselves in the best position to win. So again, just like each and every week, we talk about it being really about us, about our execution, about our discipline, and those type of things. So as we want to understand the big scope of it and what it means to our university, to our culture, and all of those type of things, we want to stay very steadfast on what we have to do to go put the very best product on the field on game day.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, Coach Scott, good morning to you.
Good morning.
How much do you focus on, you say you haven't had a chance to see a whole lot of film, but Old Dominion and Virginia Union played Hampton. Which film do you focus on, the one against Old Dominion or the one against Virginia Union?
I think you have to focus on the total body of work, all of it. Just, that's where you can't, cut corners and all that kind of stuff in your film studying and your preparation. So, you have to turn over every stone, leave no stone unturned when it comes to the preparation of it all. So, whatever you need to do, day and night to figure out what that is and put your team in the very best position that you can. I think you have to study both games and even go back into, the 2019 season, the last time they played, and see how much things have changed, although the personnel has changed, but did the scheme and different things from that standpoint change and all of that stuff. So I think it's a complete body of work that you have to go back and study and examine and formulate a plan for.
Have you taken a look at Hampton running back Elijah Burris? And if so, what are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, he's a big guy, hard to tackle. He's hard to tackle, so you better have a plan to get as many hats around the football as you can when he's back there, especially in the early downs, first and second down, to make sure you're getting this guy on the ground when the ball's in his hand. Also,
Coach, a couple of weeks ago, I think last week sometime, the MEAC alerted all of us who cover the sports that, of some new NCAA regulations, and one of which is like the coaches box or the players in coaches box now extends from the 20 to the 20, partly because of COVID restrictions. How much has that been of a help to you in terms of when you get into the red zone and can coach your team more?
That's a really good observation. It truly helps, just from the communication piece, from the sideline to the field, whether that's signals or what have you. It's been a really big help. Also, when you get down there in the red zone for substitutions and different things like that, to be able to get guys on and off the field and different personnel groupings and stuff, it has really been big. And then for me to have access to the referee has really been big too, without having to really run out of the coach's box if a delay type of situation is about to occur. It kind of happened to us Saturday. So just being in closer vicinity to that side judge to be able to get communication done to him too. So the biggest part of it has been just the communication piece. Has allowed things to happen a little bit quicker just because of the restrictions being loosened a little bit.
Okay, Coach, thanks a lot and good luck this weekend against Hampton.
Thank you.
Mr. Marshall?
Yeah, hey, Coach. You guys were one of several FCS schools to play an FBS school over the weekend. Coming from the FBS as an assistant coach and an interim coach, what value do you see in an FCS school playing an FBS in terms of like what it means for your team down the road?
Oh man, if you have the right mental approach, right, and as to what you're trying to gain from the experience, I think is everything. I think it can be super rewarding for you and your program as you build, because everything in life's about perspective. You always want to have a perspective that you're going to try and go win. And that's never compromised. Winning is everything. So you want to definitely make sure you have the right mindset around that. I think it helps to build a mentality of it doesn't matter who we're playing. If you keep things focused on what you have to do as a team to get better control of controllables, I think it can really benefit your team. The other thing is too, let's be real about this. All these young men they're young men and they all have dreams and they've all laid in bed when they're in high school and dreamed of the opportunity of walking into a stadium of 50, 60, 70,000 people, TV cameras and all of that type of thing. So it's also about the experience of them having that too, because they are young people that are very impressionable. So having them be able to walk into those environments and have those experiences is kind of, for some of them, some of their dreams come true. So to have that happen and come to fruition for some of them is big. And then to also just keep the perspective clean on setting goals of what we're setting out to accomplish in each one of these in these games. And for us, it was just to play hard, continue to play hard, control the things that we do, don't give up, don't give in, all those type of things. Fight. We played a lot of people. We're able to play a lot of guys, which help keep us healthy and healthy enough to roll into what is our true season. So I think it's multifaceted, and for them, it's an experience that they won't ever forget.
All right, thank you.
All right, do we have any more questions for Coach Scott? Coach Scott, thank you so much for being with us today, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. See you guys next week.
Yeah. The Bison will host the Hampton Pirates at Audi Field in Washington, D.C. on Saturday at 12 noon. Up next, we have Trey Oliver of North Carolina Central. Good morning, Coach. Are you with us?
I'm here. Good morning. I'm on the road, but good morning. I'm here.
Morning. Please be safe traveling. How are you?
I'm well. How are you doing this morning?
Doing good. All right, so let's jump in. Coach, your team as well suffered a tough loss this week, falling to the Thundering Herd of Marshall University. Give us your assessment of that game.
Well, we went to West Virginia and played a really good Marshall football team. And, we saw them beat up on Navy pretty bad the week before, so we knew we were going to have our hands full. Going into the game, I just told my guys, to beat teams like this, you have to minimize mistakes and, make plays, make the plays that come to you. And I thought we played fairly well in spots. Defensively, I thought we played well for the first about 27 minutes and then gave up 2 scores late before halftime. Offensively, I didn't think we played well at all. We didn't execute. But positive side, we played well in the kicking game. And I thought our guys played for 60 minutes. And we had to with that last drive coming down. They called 2 timeouts and one with 2 seconds left to go in the game. So I don't know what they were doing, trying to cover a spread or what. But they tried to poke that last one in, and our guys, kept playing, and we held them out. So it was a lot of good, a lot of positives to come out the game.
Good stuff. Looking at the Eagles' performance in the first 2 games, what are the areas that you're most pleased with, and where are some improvements needed?
I think I'm really pleased with our effort. I think we played fairly hard. I don't think technique and fundamentals, we must improve there. Communication, we must improve there. But I think if guys play hard and play for 60 minutes, you have a chance to win some football games. I think we have to do a better job of getting them coached up and putting them in position to be successful. But, it's kind of a two-headed monster. I thought we played well dispersed in the first game. And then, this last game, we played, a little overmatched and played a really good football team.
This week, you're at home against Winston-Salem State. What type of matchup are you expecting this to be?
This is going to be a dogfight. Winston's a really good football team, has been, successful over the past few years and past several years. So I know they're going to be excited and to come in and play us. And it's going to be, it's going to be a dogfight. And we have to bring our A game because they're a very good football team.
I've heard the Eagles will be playing at O'Kelly-Riddick Stadium before home fans for the first time since 2019. What are you expecting the atmosphere to be like?
Oh, the nest is going to be rocking and rolling. I just hope everybody has their mask on, but I'm expecting a sellout crowd. The students are excited. There's a buzz in the air. Now football season's, back and people are, really excited. So we've been hearing a lot about the first home game. I think they have a bunch of events scheduled. But hopefully, guys, everybody will come out and be safe and be cheering. But it should be a hostile environment.
All right, Coach. Well, those are my questions for you. Any media questions for Coach Oliver? John Dell.
Hey, Coach. This is John Dell with the Winston-Salem Journal. I wanted to ask you about the rivalry with Central and WSSU. It's been 10 years since they played. back when you played, you went 3-1 against him as a player. I don't know if you know that or not, but
I do.
what is the rivalry, mean to you? And, really, there's a lot of crossover between Central grads working at Winston-Salem State. And what does the rivalry mean to you?
I mean, well before I got here, I was hearing about it. And obviously when I played here from 94 to 97, it was a big rival and a big crowd, always a very physical game. Back then we used to talk a lot of trash. It's not as much so now, but I think it's great for the community. Two HBCUs, about an hour apart, and both of them are historic programs, and it's a love-hate relationship. We got a lot of Winston folks that work on our campus, and I got a lot of Winston-Salem State friends. But it's a great institution, both of them, two great schools, and have some epic battles. And I expect to see another one, this weekend.
And in a rivalry game like this, I mean, do the current players even know about the rivalry, or do they know just by hearing it?
Well, we have a lot of guys from North Carolina on our team, so I'm sure they know. Parents and friends go to other schools, so they understand about it, I'm sure. Again, we're gonna set that temperature, the thermostat, on 70, like we like to say, and we're not gonna get too high, not gonna get too low. But we've got to come prepared and be ready for a dogfight, because I know Coach Massey and his staff over there is gonna have those guys prepared.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, any more questions? Oh, Mr. Hill.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Can you talk a little bit about the safety protocol as we continue to grapple with the COVID-19 pandemic as you coach a football team?
Well, we're still getting tested weekly. Our guys have done a really, really good job. I think we're probably over 90% vaccinated now. So that obviously helps. The protocols, we try to, as much as we can, try to keep our guys in their little bubble. On the bus ride down, we took 4 buses. Every seat was fixed in with plexiglass. So it felt like I was in a penalty box at a hockey game for 6 hours on the bus. But, eating meals is hard because, you can't eat meals on the bus. We have to sit outside to eat our meals. It's been rough, but the guys, they've done a really good job. And knock on wood, we've had very, very, very few positive cases since camp started.
Coach, for people who never experienced the HBCU football game, can you talk a little bit about that atmosphere and what it's like? It's a whole lot going on there.
It is, with the pride and pageantry of it all. Usually Friday night is going to be some type of either a step show or pep rally. Then game day, before the game starts, the band is out there getting after it. And then we have, fifth quarter. And a lot of folks don't know about fifth quarter, but the band stay out there probably about another hour after the game battling. But you just feel, with these big rivalry games, you can just feel it in the air. It's still a family environment, family atmosphere. Folks go at it a little bit, but it's a great experience, and you just see how much love people have for their institutions. And at the end of the day, it's all still the HBCU family. So we're gonna battle on the game, and then we're gonna barbecue and tailgate after the game.
Thank you, sir. Good luck in week 3.
Thank you.
Mr. Miller.
Hey, Coach Oliver, good morning to you.
Hi, how we doing this morning?
I'm good. Coach, if you had a chance to take a look at the Rams tape against Catawba, what sticks out to you about that team, and starting with quarterback Cameron Lewis?
Well, they have a 2-headed monster. They played 2 quarterbacks, and I think he's active. He does a good job of managing the game. And then they have some skilled guys that can run. They really do. And defensively, they don't have a very complex scheme, but I think a lot of times that's good because guys aren't doing a whole lot of thinking and they can just play fast. And that's what you're seeing. Their defense, they fly around, and you can tell they're well coached. They're doing a good job of matching routes, as well as in the run game with their run fits that we talked about last week. They do a really good job with that, and they have some physical linebackers.
Coach, also when teams play up like you did this weekend against Marshall, oftentimes there's a lot of concern afterward about injuries. So how did your team fare from an injury standpoint coming out of the game against the Thundering Herd?
Oh, we're banged up, very, very much so. I think we have about 5 guys going to get X-rays and MRIs today, and that was the part of it, defensively when they were on the field for 100 plays. I think they ran like 108 plays. The average game was between 70 and 80. So, we really played really 5 to 6 quarters, Saturday night. And I thought we played well early, but when the play count got to 80, 90, that's when we had some guys start to go down. And, we played a bunch of 2s and 3s and try to get a bunch of guys out there on the field and sub guys in and out. But yeah, we did get banged up, but that's part of football. So, hopefully we'll get those guys back. If not, we'll get the next guy ready to play.
Okay, Coach, thank you, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Mr. Gaither.
Morning, Coach. How you doing today?
I'm well, Steve. How you doing?
Doing well, doing well. Just wanted to ask you, I know he's quite a few years older than you, but Coach Robert Massey at Winston-Salem State is a Central alumnus and of course played in the NFL as well. Just wanted to know if you had any any relationship with him, and if so, what it'd be like again going up against someone that from the same place as you and you guys in that matchup.
Yeah, Coach Massey and I we go back probably 25 years. When I first got to Central, he was around a lot, real supportive, especially being, a secondary guy. He'd always come back and spend time with the back end, with the secondary guys. Then, after I graduated and got into coaching, we coached together at Central, I think for 3 years. So we were on Coach Broadway's staff together. After that, I had an opportunity to coach his son when I was at North Carolina A&T. So, yeah, we do have quite a bit of history. We had a great relationship. Our families are very close, and Coach Massey is a good friend of mine. So we'll put all that aside because I know he's going to have his guys ready to go. Coach Massey is an extremely high intense individual. So we're going to have to match his intensity and his team's intensity.
Appreciate it, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Awesome. Any more questions for Coach Oliver?
Who was faster, you or him, in a race?
Who was faster? Definitely Coach Massey. Now, we can race today. I'll smoke him today. As a matter of fact, we might want to do that in pregame.
Oh, don't get hurt, Coach. Don't get hurt.
Oh, my goodness.
Make sure you stretch.
I'm going to need to do that.
Oh, Lord. Any more questions? All right, Coach Oliver, thank you so much and good luck this week.
Thank you. Have a good day.
All right, you too. The Eagles will play at home on Saturday against the Winston-Salem State Rams. Kickoff is set for 6 p.m. at O'Kelly-Riddick Stadium. The game will be broadcast live on the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN. All right, up next, we have Coach Rod Milstead from Delaware State. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am well. Thanks for asking. All right, Coach. The Hornets suffered their first loss of the season on Saturday, falling to Georgetown in overtime 20-14. Tell us a little bit about that game.
Well, we started off well. We got a 14-point lead, and they scored 7 points before the half. And then we came out after halftime and just couldn't put the ball in the end zone. Wasn't consistent on offense. Defense kept us in the game, and they allowed another touchdown, I believe, in the fourth quarter, which tied the ball game up 14-14. In regulation, it ended. We had an opportunity to score 3 in overtime and missed the field goal, had it blocked, and then they got the ball and then they scored a touchdown and won the game. So very disappointing. You want to protect your home ground, and we didn't do a very good job of that finishing the football game, and we'll learn from it and we'll move on.
Awesome. Running back Syvion Wilkerson had another great game, rushing for 98 yards after recording 92 the week before. Is he the key to your team's success offensively this season?
Well, we want to be a well-balanced offense. The biggest thing is that you can have all the stats in the world, But if you can't get the ball in the end zone, that's a big problem. Got to be able to score points. And that's where it's going to be our main focal point this week is to continue to build off of last week, learn from it, and focus more on getting the ball in the end zone. But he is a big part of what we do, yes.
Awesome. And you referred to this a little bit earlier, but what about the rush defense, which held Georgetown to just 48 yards rushing?
Our defense is really playing well. I'm very proud of those guys. They work really hard. They play the way they practice, and that's something that I take my hat off to. They work really, really hard, and they make it very difficult for our offense. And they're going to continue to get better. They're just starting. We're on week 3, and every week they've taken a steps. I challenged them last week to do some things, and they did everything that I've asked them to do. So I'm excited about our defense, and just want our team to be more consistent, more well-rounded, and we'll get better as we go and continue on. We'll take a step this week.
Awesome. This weekend, it's a matchup against East Tennessee State. They're coming off a 2-0 start, which includes a win over Vanderbilt on opening weekend. How should the Hornets match up against the Bucks?
It's going to be a tough game. I'm going to be honest with you. It's probably the hardest opponent that we'll face in the start of our season, to be honest with you. They're coming off a big win week 1 against Vanderbilt, and they won this week as well. So they're riding high, and we're coming into their place. It's going to be hostile. They have a very good program. They're well coached. They're well balanced in terms of offense, defense, and special teams. We're able to create some turnovers against Vanderbilt and did a very, very good job of really controlling and managing the football game. It's going to be a big test for us, a big task, but we will be prepared and ready to go play when we get down to Tennessee on Saturday.
Awesome. Those conclude my questions. Any questions for Coach Milstead? All right, Ty Miller.
Hey, Coach Milstead, good morning to you.
Good morning.
You briefly mentioned their offense and defense. Want to focus on their defense. 85 yards given up to Vandy rushing, only 39 to Virginia Y. So what about the defense, more so than their run defense, sticks out to you about that team?
They're fast. They're fast. They pursue the football. I mean, their linebackers are coming downhill. Their safeties are coming up. They put 8 people in the box. They dare you to run the football on them, and then they pursue so hard. So they make it difficult to run the football, but that's what we do. We run the football. So it's going to be a big task for us to see if they can stop it and we can get some runs on them.
Impressions of their running back, Quay Holmes.
He's big, he's strong, he's very elusive. We're going to have to put some hats on him. Okay. You stop him, you can slow their offense down, but they're big at receiver as well. So, I mean, their quarterback is smart. He makes good decisions with the football. Like I said, they're a well-rounded, a good football program.
Thank you, Coach.
Dr. Cavill, sorry. You're muted.
Excuse me about that. This is Cavill inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Wanted to ask Coach a follow-up question, more on a philosophical approach to the game. After a challenge you spoke about against Georgetown, what is the process of moving forward? Is there anything that you say particular, or is it just the nature of football team to understand that you get up for the next game? What is going through that process?
Well, everyone's disappointed after a loss, whether it's to Georgetown or whether it's to Alabama. You're disappointed. So you take 24 hours and you digest it, and then you dispose of it. I use the analogy with my guys. The reason the windshield is bigger in your car than the rearview mirror is because everybody should be looking forward and not looking behind you. And that's the analogy we used yesterday with our team. We watched the film, made the corrections, and we move on to East Tennessee. We can't dwell on the loss. You learn from it, but you can't dwell on it.
Appreciate it. Moving forward, as you talk about East Tennessee State playing some good football, what are some of the items that you picked up on film that you really want to focus on with your team, this side of the ball?
Oh, stopping that offensive line. If you get a chance to watch the film and what they've done the last 2 games, that has been the key factor. They really, really came out, and being a former offensive lineman, I was impressed on how well they played together. The 5 guys, how well they played together, managing the defensive line of Vanderbilt and Wise. They did a very, very good job on both games. But then the speed of their defense, their defense plays at a different level. They are controlling gaps, they're hitting gaps, they're getting in your backfield. I mean, they are creating chaos all the time. And then their defensive backs are like Velcro. I mean, they do a very good job of staying on the receivers, not giving you a chance. And then when the ball is in the air, they make it so if you try to catch it, they're knocking, they're scrappy, they're trying to get the ball out of your hands. So it's going to be a big physical matchup for us. I'm excited about, having the opportunity, but it's going to be a game that we have to play 4 quarters. We got to play 4 quarters against this team.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Mr. Gaither?
Coach Milstead, how you doing this morning?
I'm well. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. In the past couple of weeks, you're playing a variety of different opponents, and just talk about maybe the challenges or the philosophy now when you guys are scheduling games with so many out of conference slots and the different variety of options that you have in order to get your team, your program where it needs to be now with the changes that have gone on in the MEAC.
Well, the biggest thing is that, like I was telling, our coaching staff, the reason the schedule is the way it is I want to give our guys a chance to compete and give our guys a chance to compete and win. Before I got here, of course, we were on a different model where we were playing bigger schools and really playing out of our league. And starting the season 0-3, 0-2, it's not fun. It's not fun. It tears the morale down, and losing is contagious, and so is winning. My biggest thing is I want to teach our guys how to win, how to play for 4 quarters. And so the schedule is set up to where it gives our guys, put us in the best position where we are right now as a program to be successful. And that's the reason why our program, our scheduling is so diverse right now. Down the road, when I feel that we're prepared and at that level to play a bigger opponent, an FBS opponent, then I'll start putting them back on the schedule. But right now, I feel that where our program is set up directly correlates to where our scheduling is today.
Thanks for that answer, Coach. You have a good one, and good luck this week.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Hill.
Good morning, Coach. It's James Hill with BNC Sports. When you look at going on the road, some teams really enjoy that in terms of locking in. All they do is focus on the task at hand. Everyone likes to play at home, but it's a great opportunity to play on the road too, when you can just focus. Can you talk about that? Less distractions. All you got to do is really just go to work.
I like the road. I like being at home, of course, and there's nothing like playing in front of your home team, but I have no qualms about playing on the road. You go into a hostile environment. It's a good college football town, good college football environment. There's going to be a lot of things going on when we get down there. There's a race at Bristol. University of Tennessee has a game. So it's going to be a lot going on, and to get our guys to focus. We're going to do some things different with travel this year than we've done in years past. But our guys are excited about the task at hand. And, going on the road is always a treat. You get to see other things in the experience that you don't really get at home. At home, everyone likes you. When you go on the road, nobody likes you. So it's a little different. It gives our guys a chance to grow and mature as well.
Thank you, sir.
All right, any more questions for Coach Milstead? All right, Coach, thank you for being with us today. We appreciate your time and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
All right, the Hornets will travel to Johnson City, Tennessee on Saturday for a clash against the East Tennessee State Bucks. Kickoff will be at 7:30 p.m. at William B. Green Jr. Stadium and will be broadcast live on ESPN+. Now we're moving on to Coach Dawson Odoms of Norfolk State. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. Coach, the Spartans squared off against Wake Forest on Saturday and hung in tough for most of the first half. How will you evaluate your team's performance against the Demon Deacons?
Well, I thought we did a lot of things really well. If you look at the game, we had a chance first drive. We're moving the football, which we've done on pretty much every team we played. Offensively, we've been able to be productive. We moved the ball up and down the field. We had a 3rd and 5, hit a receiver with a chance to extend the drive. We had a drop. We ended up punting, and then they went on to we ended up getting a field goal. And next thing you know, 7-3, then 21. All of a sudden, now the ball game looked like it was out of hand. Offense come right back down the field. Defense get a stop, and then we end up 21-9. And then the next thing you know, they get a field goal. So it's 24-9. We had a chance on 4th down to get a stop. They converted. And next thing you know, the ball game looked like it was getting away from us. But here come the offense again to move the ball down the field. So a lot of great things came from that football game. I think from week 1 to week 2, we got a lot better. We're a good football team. We played up 2 weeks in a row. Probably played against Toledo, who's probably got a chance to win their conference. And Wake's probably going to win at least 8 ball games. They're a really good football team. So we're battle tested. And I told our guys that that's what it's about, being battle tested. Now, where do we go from here? We got our home opener, and we're excited about playing at home. And we're going to see how this thing go down the stretch. But I think we got a really good football team.
Good stuff, Coach. Juwan Carter had 195 yards passing with 2 touchdowns, along with 37 yards rushing. Has he settled into your offensive schemes well?
Well, exactly. I thought he played a lot better than he did in game 1. Hadn't played in a while. You could tell in game 1 he was, a little anxiety had kicked in with him. But I thought for the most part in game 2, he was the general. He is the Juwan Carter we expect going down the stretch, and we was excited for the growth that he's making. And I think our offense is growing. Our O-line is doing a great job. We're getting better, and that's the whole key with our football team, is to make sure we get better every day, and I think we're doing that.
All right, and talk a little bit about your defense in the game on Saturday.
Well, I thought we had a great game plan. Wake Forest offense is really hard to try and stop, but it's also hard to duplicate in practice. It's really tough the way they run their scheme. But I thought for the most part, we had guys in position, and that's all we really wanted. Make sure we get lined up, play with the right physicality, and just play hard. And I thought our guys did that.
Awesome. So this Saturday, like you mentioned, you get to make your debut at Dick Price Stadium when the Spartans host Elizabeth City State. How eager are you to finally get to coach in front of your home crowd?
Well, we got a 30,000 seat stadium for a reason, and we haven't played football in a while, and hopefully they come out and support this football team. And with Elizabeth City being close in proximity, hopefully we can have a electrifying crowd. I think it's going to be a great day for football. I think the environment is going to be electric. I think the student body's excited about having something to do and having a football game to attend. I'm thinking the crowd's going to be better than what most people anticipated, because this is, like I said, I think it's a really good football team. And now we finally get a chance to come home and showcase to our fans how much better we gotten over the 2 weeks.
Awesome. Those are my questions for you, Coach Odoms. We will now have media questions. All right, don't forget to use the raise your hand feature to ask a question. And we have Dr. Cabell.
Yes, Coach Odom, just wanted to follow up in regards to playing at home, in regards to Elizabeth City State. When you look at the tape, is anything in particular that stands out in regards to the Vikings when you look at this game?
Well, yes, I think, especially offensively, they have 2 or 3 guys that are very talented individuals that can make plays. And that's what we try to identify. Who are the playmakers and how do we go about game planning? to make sure we know where they are at all times and how we go about taking away what they do best. And defensively, they fly around. They try to get 11 hats to the football. They play hard. And, like I told our coaches and our players, is that we're about focusing on us. Let's not beat ourselves. And that's what it's really all about every week. If you look at our penalties, they're a lot less than what they've been in the past. So far, we played 2 games. We've been 5 penalties or less. And that discipline is what we think will get us ready for the long haul. And that discipline was going to get us ready for our home opener and just playing really Spartan football. And that's playing fast, playing hard, and playing smart. If we do those things, we think we'll have a great chance on Saturday.
Thank you, Coach.
Mr. Gaither?
Well, good morning, Coach. Got a chance to watch you guys in person on Saturday, and your offense definitely did a lot of things moving the ball. Can you talk about, just maybe why you guys, beyond the nerves, maybe why you guys were maybe, a little more successful than you were against Toledo?
Honestly, I think Toledo's a very good football team. I think we checked the scoreboard Saturday, and they come down to the wire with Notre Dame. So they're a very good football team. I think it's a reason they're preseason favorites. And I think in the spring they went 4-2. Toledo is a talented football team, a physical football team, and you got to buckle up when you take on them. So, and then I think the first game that you played in a year and a half or so that had a lot to do with those first game jitters. It's just a lot of timing was off, just understanding the speed of a football game. These guys haven't seen that. We haven't been full speed other than against each other. But when the first time you see that opposite color jersey, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different feel. But you can see the difference between game 1 and game 2. And I thought our guys did a great job of adjusting. And I thought our coaching staff did an outstanding job of preparing these young men and putting them in position to make plays.
Yeah, and then follow up, as I asked Coach Milstead, the way that the MEAC is now, you guys have played 2 FBS schools. You got the D2 school that you're playing this week. And, as you look forward and you get involved in the scheduling there at Norfolk State, what is going to be your philosophy on filling the number of games you guys have to fill with the conference being, contracted a little bit?
Well, I mean, I think you got to schedule the opportunities that are available. It's not like you got a whole lot of choices. Most teams have their schedules 10 years out now, so it's hard to fill those games each and every week. When it comes to those years like 2023, we have some openings that we got to try to fill, and 2024. So it's just trying to find the right teams to play without really getting your team beat up. So it's tough, but we understand the difficulties that we have when it comes to scheduling. And you got to do the best job that you can and try to give your young man an opportunity to have some success and also have a great college experience. It's difficult when you got to play these FBSs like we have to, but at the end of the day, you try to schedule it to where your team doesn't get beat up and you're able to survive and not come out with a lot of injuries. And that is tough. But at the end of the day, you got to play football and got to have a great offseason program because this is the lay of the land. So no need to make excuses about it or complain about it. You got to get your football team prepared to play.
Awesome, Coach. Thank you. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Hill.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
It's hard to believe it's already week 3 of the college football season. Can you share your thoughts on the Spartans so far, the program, and continuing to put your stamp on this team?
Well, every time we go out, we try to correct our mistakes and not duplicate them. And you can see that from week 1 to week 2. Just every day, just doing it the right way, being a champion on the field and off the field and doing the right things. I think that's what it starts. It's the little things. I think what you see on Saturday is a byproduct of the accumulation of what happened during the week. And that's really what we talk about all the time in our program. It's called the process. The process to getting to Saturday, the process to winning, it starts way before you ever get to Saturday. And that's what we're selling, and that's what we're building, and that's what we're driving home. And you can see that in our guys. I mean, it's amazing to see them look a certain way and carry themselves a certain way. And that's becoming the new Spartan way in our process. And that's going to lead to winning. We really believe that. We really believe in due time. that the Spartans will start winning, and we're coming and we're getting better. And I think it's great for our community, great for our institution, and great for our program. And it's just a matter of time. And hopefully this Saturday we get a chance to taste winning for 2021. And hopefully we can build it and sustain it as this season go along.
Thank you, sir.
Awesome. Do we have any more questions for Coach Odoms? All right, Coach, thank you so much for joining us and good luck on Saturday.
Always a pleasure. Behold, the green and gold.
Thanks, Coach. Norfolk State will host Elizabeth City State on Saturday at William Dick Price Stadium. Kickoff is set for 6 p.m. and the game can be seen live on the MEAC digital network on ESPN+. Up next, we have South Carolina State head coach Buddy Pugh. Good morning, Coach Pugh. How are you? Coach Pugh, are you here? Coach was here. Let's see, let's give him a few seconds to get in.
Karen, y'all back to me?
Yes, Coach.
Is that right? Well, listen, I've been sitting there watching doggone Wilson and Odoms and Milstead all the time, Trey Oliver, and then all of a sudden it's about time for me to come on. Then my screen goes blank. So I lost my connection there right at the very end. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. I am well. How are you?
I'm beat up a little bit, but I'm here.
Oh, glad you are here with us, Coach. You all had a monumental task this last weekend playing in Death Valley against the 6th-ranked Clemson Tigers before a large crowd of 78,000 people. What was that atmosphere like?
It was 78,000. It was loud and all that kind of stuff. But you know what? We've got to the point now where we kind of sort of used to it, and our guys enjoy the opportunity to get in there and play. You know, with these guys, we didn't play quite as well. We're not quite as far along right now as I'd like for us to be. And defensively, we struggle. So they beat us up pretty good. And we were able to kind of get out of there with our hides still intact, just barely though. And we on to the next deal. We get ready to go. We on the Bingo Long and Traveling All-Stars kind of doggone routine right now. But it's got his guys going from place to place, trying to make a few bucks and trying to sell a few trinkets. So we're going to see if we can head on out to New Mexico this Saturday, this coming weekend.
Awesome. Minus the opening quarter, the Bulldogs played tough against Clemson. Talk about the adjustments that you made after spotting Clemson a big first quarter lead.
Well, we tried to settle in a little bit, try to give our guys the opportunity to play. I basically said to our defensive guys, hey, we're not gonna try to coach you through these deals. You know, we're gonna try to let you play through these deals. We put you in a look or two and let you settle in and kind of actually see, you know, where you fit as far as the fundamental abilities are concerned. So we worked out, you know, a little bit better that way than we did the way that we were trying to go at the early part of the game. And we eventually got them sort of had the way slowed down. We didn't really stop them, but we kept them from just run up down the field.
Gotcha. Like you mentioned, the Bulldogs take on New Mexico State this coming weekend. What does the game film tell you about the Aggies?
Well, we are hoping that it's a closer matchup to what's usual and customary for us here. But they are a bold team also. And, you know, we do feel like, you know, they are at the very least a cut above us. But now we feel that we can compete with these guys. It'll be interesting to see exactly, you know, how much of a disparity is between the levels of abilities of the two teams. I don't know much about New Mexico. I've been there maybe once or twice my whole lifetime. So this will be a new experience for us dealing with the humidity or the lack of humidity the kind of heat they got there. Coach, so they tell me, say, if you can deal with the heat in Orangeburg, say you can deal with the heat anywhere. It's hot as anybody here. So basically, we feel that we'll be okay, going from a warm part of the country to another style kind of warm in another part of the country.
Gotcha. And this will be your third straight road game. How tough is it to start the season on the road for 3 hard games?
Well, it's not easy, but you know what? We're kind of used to it, and we like being on the road. Food's good, hotel's good. We generally kind of get to a place sometime maybe early enough on Friday afternoon where we can get a little bit of rest and kind of give our guys a chance to kind of wind down a little bit, and then we're going about the task of trying to get ready for the game. So, we like being out there, trying to, figure out exactly how to match wits with these people on the road a bit. So it's all good.
Gotcha. Now we will have questions from Mr. Stephen Gate.
Coach Pugh, how you doing this morning?
Hey, Stephen, how are you?
Doing great. You talk about you guys and your defensive guys, and historically, this is a game a couple years ago where Darius Leonard, you guys got beat, but Darius Leonard really impressed the scouts and jumped off on there. And talk about Jacoby Durant getting a couple of interceptions and maybe helping improve his draft stock. When it gets down the road to that in a game like Clemson, how that does for him.
Well, that's always a talking point, when we're getting ready to play these kinds of games, that, those guys who seem to be, doing well at the next level, did well in these kinds of settings. And, nobody misses with, what you do these kinds of days. The fact that Jacoby got in there and made a few plays, is a good thing. And we try to encourage all of our guys to go out and play well, in these kind of settings, because, it generally does not go unnoticed.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mr. Miller.
Hey, Coach Pugh, how you doing?
Fine, Ty, how you?
I'm good, Coach. You mentioned that you came out unscathed. What about your football team? Were there any major injuries this past weekend?
Yeah, we lost one of our running backs, Alex James, to a shoulder separation. But the majority of the rest of the guys, are back. The problem is we went into the game with a good many guys banged up. Shaq Davis, our big wide receiver, out on the edge, was out. He'll probably be out again this week. Raheem White, the young man who returned the kickoff against Alabama A&M, was out with a concussion. We've got a defensive linebacker, Jablonski Green, that's out with a little bit of a wrist deal. So we got some guys banged up going into the game that we won't quite get back yet. Hopefully, when we come out of the break, we go into an open week next week after this New Mexico game. Hopefully, when we come back for Bethune-Cookman, we can have the majority of our team back healthy and in place and ready to go.
Coach, I kind of hear a hint of optimism in your voice about New Mexico State. Is it due in part that they are 0-3?
Well, it is, but I'm sure it's due in part to them saying the exact same thing we 0-2 on our end. So, I had quite figured out who gets the best part of the conversation that way, Ty. I told our guys yesterday, I said, hey, them guys are telling everybody that this is their shot to get that win, because we hadn't won a game. So we've got to figure out exactly how to turn the tides on them a little bit, but we got our work cut out for us. They are, it'll be an even game. At least I hope it will be an even game, at best. And then when that happens, who says, what's going to make the difference, in a situation like that. So you need to be prepared, because you might run into that opportunity. And the worst thing you possibly can have is to have your shot. You're not ready to take advantage of it.
Well, Coach, their big quarterback, about 240-pound guy, Dino that's Jonah Johnson, rather. He got injured this past weekend with his wrist. He went out, but they brought him.
Is he going to be back, Ty?
They're not releasing the report like you won't release yours. So I don't know. But Dino Maldonado, he's a walk-on. He came in and put up some big numbers. So did you take a look at him?
Yeah, and he was that number 3 too. So I wonder what happened to the number 2 out of that deal. He kind of got lost in the mix a little bit. But yeah, he was decent enough, I thought, to almost get him to the point where they stuck in that game with New Mexico that way. So I don't know if there's a lot of difference between the two, but Johnson is a little bit bigger athletic guy. And, we need to try to figure out exactly who's going to be there on Saturday.
And finally, Coach, besides the injuries, we talked about that 2-week jump. Did your team take that 2-week jump against Clemson that most coaches look for?
Yeah, I think so. Our guys are generally tied, pretty even keel in all ways. So we move on, and these kids are more even than we'll ever be. So they back on the bus on the way home, they're good.
Okay, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Thanks, man.
All right, Mr. Hill.
Good morning, Coach Pugh.
Hey, how are you?
Pretty good, sir. Most of the time, South Carolina State University Bulldogs play football games. It's east of the Mississippi River. In this particular case, you head to the western side of the country. Is travel ever a factor in football?
Well, when it gets to be 4 hours, in one trip that way on a plane, yeah, it gets to be a little bit of an issue that way. But, we'll be all right, James. We're going to get there. We're going to get out of here, I guess, maybe around noontime, maybe a little bit later than that Friday. And we'll get there maybe about 2 o'clock after about a 4 o'clock, after about a 4-hour flight. I don't know how much of an effect that'll have on us, but we'll get there soon enough that we can at least lay down and acclimate a little bit and then maybe get up and then get our day going. But, heck, it's a plane trip. It's a long one. The good thing about it is we come back home to an open week. So we don't necessarily have, a quick turnaround for the game the following weekend. So we probably bet off in the back end of that, that this game is right before an open date.
Thank you, sir. Good luck.
Thank you.
Mr. Gaither?
Coach, I wanted to come back and circle around and ask you this question. A lot of times there's talk, on the media or, on social media about, if we as HBCU fans and alumni would fill our stadiums, that we wouldn't need to play a Clemson or something like that. But, you look at the disparity between the budgets and things like that. Do you feel like that is something that maybe is something a little bit out of the realm of reality? What's your thought process on, obviously you want to fill up your own stadium, but just how much these games, how much they mean to a program as a whole more than just a football game?
Yeah. Well, I think it's got to be a source of revenue, for our universities, and that we now kind of depend on it some. And you know how that goes, when something's good to you, you tend to kind of go in that direction. So we get a bunch of it. So we've got games now scheduled for, I guess maybe about the next 6 or 7 years, out at these different places. And hopefully what will happen is we'll eventually get to the point where we'll put some of that money back into our programs in a way that we'll have an opportunity to be, closer matched, to some of these guys. But, I don't know if it's going to last much longer, Steve. I think that there'll eventually be legislation that on their end that will keep them from playing, us, or maybe at least limit the number of games, that they'll be allowed to do this with. So eventually I think that stream will dry up. At that point, then we'll be on to the next, whatever that might be, to try to create revenue that way. But that's the name of the game. You're trying to figure out how to make money. And we don't necessarily do quite as well as we liked on our regular game day attendance that way. So, this might be the next best thing. But if that dries up, then we got to figure out what's next.
Thank you for that, Coach.
Okay, Steve.
All right, Mr. Duvall.
Hey, Coach, you did it. You're playing some back-to-back games, some big games. Clemson, this is Daryl Duvall from Power U, and now you're playing New Mexico State. How does your players feel about playing these hard games back-to-back? And, and that's one of the questions. And the second question kind of goes back to what you talk about filling the stadiums. The last 2 weeks, because of HBCU, ESPN3, we have ESPN2. We have problems getting on ESPN3 because half of us don't. I mean, it's just a problem. And I don't know if it ESPNU or we're going to get to the point where we actually start having more games on the regular channel ESPN. But what is your thoughts on that? And so those are my two questions.
Well, can you frame the first one again? Because I got lost in the whole deal there a little bit.
I'm sorry about that. The first one was about playing back-to-back games.
Yeah, let me answer that one first. Okay. All right, let's see if I can work on that. The back-to-back deal is somewhat of an issue. You like to try to see if you can spread them out a little bit. One of the good things about the new model of scheduling for our league is that we've got spots now available that we can spread these games out some. We can play one like, say, for instance, we're playing A&T in game maybe like 10 or 11 of our schedule. Well, we could put a guaranteed game over in there. And a lot of schools are looking for games that weekend because they want to try to put a game, in before their rivalry week toward the back of their schedule that way. So that might be something that might allow us to eventually get a little bit better at the scheduling deal. Lots of times what happens is we end up scheduling not necessarily because that's what we exactly want, because it just kind of works out that way. It kind of worked out early in the year for us to be back to back, these 2 weeks with Clemson and New Mexico State. And New Mexico really is not quite, the same level as Clemson, even though they're a group of 5, a group of 6 kind of a school. It's not necessarily the same level, as the Clemsons of the world are concerned. But at the same time, if you had your druthers, then you'd much rather spread those guys out, maybe one early and maybe one later over in your year. Now, what's the next question?
And the last question was basically ESPN television rights. And, now it's getting to the point where, you see a lot of games on ESPN3, but I was just wondering, is that ever going to get to the point where we're getting to that ESPNU where we have the access and it's easy for us to actually start seeing HBC games? Because it's becoming fun to watch them,
You know what? I don't, and I like sitting there and having the watch app. Now the kids, I can tell you, see all of these games, and the watch app is the way they go. And, we kind of get stuck on the main networks, the, ESPN 1 and 2, maybe, and then, the rest of that plus minus multiplied by 3 stuff back in the backside. We don't necessarily see that much, but I can tell you that I'm a young guy, man. I see all that stuff. And I'm sitting there, on the bus on the way to the game Saturday, watching, watching some of our other teams in our league play. So, I don't necessarily feel like, it's a shortcoming of the process that we don't necessarily get on 1 and 2, because there are only 2 or 3 spots in that deal, per slot per week. And, that's a long ways between the schools that are starting off playing, there and all the way down into the doldrums of the rosters of the games that we play. So I feel like we just got to carve our niche out now. I told our guys, we got to get excited enough that people want to see us. Heck, I want to see Dion. I want to see Dion and what's the guy's name that's coaching at Tennessee State? Eddie George. I want to see them guys myself last week. So I'm trying to figure out, how to create some excitement myself so they want to see us. That's the key to the whole deal, to make something happen in a way where they want to put you on those things. So we got to figure out how to make it happen.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, any more questions for Coach Pugh? All right, Coach, thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Karen.
Appreciate you being with us, and good luck this
Everybody,
weekend.
I say hey.
I will.
All right.
Tell everybody I say hey as well.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. The South Carolina State Bulldogs will face the New Mexico State Aggies on Saturday. Kickoff from Aggie Memorial Stadium in Las Cruces, New Mexico is set for 8 p.m. and the game can be seen live on Flow Football. Up next, we will talk to Morgan State head coach Tyrone Wheatley. Good morning, Coach. How are you? Coach Wheatley is still with us?
I just, have to unmute and do a lot of person. I'm finding you. How are you?
I'm well, Coach. How are you doing today?
A little salty, but you know what? It's football. So I apologize right now for the way I come across, but damn it, I don't like losing. So let's go. Let's get it going. Let's go.
All right, coach, let's go. The Tulane Green Wave jumped out to a big lead at the half, but your team held its own in the second half. What kind of adjustments did you make in the locker room at halftime?
Absolutely none. The defensive coordinator at Tulane has a really good defense. But at the same time, after watching the film, and I told my team this, he was looking at the film and saying, lucky they missed those plays. The plays were there, both offensively and defensively. So when you talk about the adjustments, really it's just getting your players right, getting their minds right. You don't have, there wasn't many offensive or defensive scheme adjustments that we had to make. It was just the players being able to say, hey, we could play with these guys and let's go. That was it.
Okay. How does playing these games prepare you for when conference play starts?
Now that's a loaded question. It helps out a lot, right? It does. Because I said this before, and it's quite funny. Somebody always sends me blurs from when somebody puts some stuff in there, and I'll take a Stephen A. Smith deal. Hey, I'll challenge anybody who wants to say that, the MEAC or the SWAC isn't as close in talent as some of the lower tier schools. We are very close. It's the execution is where we suffer, right? It's the execution is where we suffer. However, this MEAC conference is a stingy, ornery conference, right? I mean, these guys can coach. And so when you're playing these teams, if your team isn't on point, I don't care if it is in Alabama, you still have to go out and you still have to produce. I'd rather get beat physically than get beat mentally in MEs, mental errors, right? So if I can go out there and I can execute, like I said, there wasn't many adjustments we had to make, corrections in terms of scheme. It was a guide. You see the play, go make the tackle. We don't teach shoulder tackle. Catch the ball. What's your first read? Well, throw the damn ball. As opposed to I thought I saw, well, coach, I'm trying to make a play. Doing your job is making a play. So if I go out there against Alabama and their 6'5" monstrosity of a freaking monster offensive tackle just dominates my defensive end, but my defensive end is playing with great technique and doing what he needs to do, I can live with that. Because guess what? When we get to the MEAC and they're doing what they're supposed to do, instead of trying to run out of his lane or run out of his gap fit and puts the linebacker in a bad position, then that hurts us in the MEAC. So I don't care who we play. I don't care. Doesn't make a difference. My take is a little different on there. I don't give a damn who we play. It's who we are and what we do, which brings us to the MEAC. Because I'm going to tell you this, and I'll continue to say this, I'll continue to fight for the MEAC. This is a damn good conference. It's a damn good conference.
All right, coach, looking ahead to this week, Sacred Heart is on the schedule. Tell us about how you're preparing for them.
No different, right? Game plan is what it is. But they're stingy defense. They had a good shutout. Week 1, they come back. They had a tough loss. Week 2, I think they're ranked number 6 defensively right now, early in the FCS football program. They have a really good running game. Malik Grant, led by Malik Grant, right? Good rusher. Defense is led by Nassim Brant. I think his name is Brantley. But they have a good team, a good, solid, disciplined team. They're senior latent team. So they've been together for a while. But once again, I'm at the point right now, it doesn't make a difference who we play. It's how we play and how we follow instructions and what we do. That's it. Plain and simple.
Gotcha. And in that vein, what are some keys to success for the Bears to register their first win this weekend?
Well, first and foremost, you have to move the chains. You can't go, the first week we were 4-18, 4-16. This week we were 5, right? You got to move the chains. Get the first down. We have to move the ball. We got to be successful on first down, right? So that keeps you out of 3rd and long. But whatever the case may be, we have to move the ball. We got to move the ball. We can't shoot ourselves in the foot and give people gifts. Damn it, I'm Scrooge. I don't like giving people gifts. I hate Christmas. All right. I hate everything about Christmas. So I'm stingy. But we have to go out and we have to play our football and we have to move the ball. That's first and foremost. Second of all, we got to take our defense off the field. Our defense is playing really good football, right? So you have to almost build a chess game. Got to play defense through your offense. Got to keep your guys off the field, especially when they're on that field and they're upwards and they're playing up to 80 to 90 plays a game. That's rough on somebody. It's really rough. And then I think the next keys to success is just really going back to the people in the locker room, the guys in seats, right? Just playing football. It's not too big. It's not too big. It's never too big. Never too big. And I think we need to stop saying that it's too big. And I think we need to stop talking about the rush. No, when you're at home, even though it was COVID, right? Even though it was COVID, and I might get in some trouble, but I don't give a doggone. I'll take the flack. We need to stop talking about mental health. There is a part of mental health that is called mental toughness, okay? These guys got to start getting to the point where life is going to be hard. Football is a great indicator of life, right? Once you leave home, mommy and daddy can't do a lot for you. So you have to build mental toughness. You have to be able to withstand and weather some pain and strain. And so at the end of the day, we got to withstand this mental pain and strain. Got to build some mental toughness about us. And we got to get going.
All right, Coach, that concludes my questions for you. Do we have any media questions for Coach Wheatley? All right, Mr. Hill.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
You guys scored in the second quarter, third quarter, and fourth quarter. Can you just talk a little bit about Neil and what you see from him throwing the ball around?
Well, you know, the disastrous first game he had, I mean, I think it humbled him, right? Comes back and he humbled. Once again, it goes back to this. I don't care how skillful you think you are. I don't care how talented you think you are. If you don't play within the framework of offense and do exactly what you're told to do, it doesn't matter. He came out and like I said, humbled him. He came out, he nailed his lands, meaning see a little, see a lot. Just locked in on his keys and just play football. Got the ball to the guys he was supposed to get the ball to. It's simple, right? It's simple.
Every Saturday is a great opportunity to go out and do something the old-fashioned way. Can you talk about going into Connecticut this weekend and trying to get that W?
Well, I'm telling you, we're going into like we just said, we're going into a stingy defense. I think that right now they're ranked 6th overall in FCS football. Stingy, right? Stingy. But like you said, this is a great opportunity. Here's a great opportunity to go out and show that if we just do what we're supposed to do, no matter who we line up against, we're going to be a good team. Like I said, this Nassim Brantley kid, he's a tackling machine. I mean, he's going to make some plays, right? He is going to make some plays. He trains them, he listens to his coaches. And that's the one thing about football and any sport in particular, it's your resolve, right? You're going to have some ups and downs. They're going to the battle of attrition. But at the end of the day, you have to come out standing. And those who do exactly as the game plan is taught, and those who follow the game plan and follow their technique and their training and let things become muscle memory instead of thought, those are the ones that come out on top.
Thank you, sir. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions for Coach Wheatley? All right. Hearing none, Coach, thank you for your time and your energy this morning. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Morgan State will travel to Fairfield, Connecticut on Saturday to face the Pioneers of Sacred Heart. Kickoff from Campus Field will be at 1 p.m. and the game will be broadcast live on NEC Front Row Network. At this time, we would like to conclude our press conference, but before we end the call, we'd like to thank all the media members who joined us today, the sports information offices that have helped us with today's call, and as always, the MEAC would like to thank its corporate partners for their continued support. The next call will be Monday, September 20th, starting at 10 p.m. As always, for up-to-date news on MEAC football and other sponsored sports, log on to meacsports.com. Like the MEAC on Facebook, follow MEAC Sports on Twitter and Instagram, and subscribe to the MEAC Digital Network on YouTube. Once again, everybody, thank you for being here and have a great football week. I will see you next week.